Well, there's another factor in all this stuff when we talk about OSS, and it's the fact that most OSS development is being funded by corporations. And we also have this romanticized idea that OSS is something I'm going to build it in my spare time, and I'm going to make all the decisions. I'm going to choose what goes into it, and somehow magically 5 to 10 years from now, I'm going to be a millionaire because of it. That's that's a little thin on detail. It's like, what's your game plan for getting from here to there? To be honest, the corporations that are funding open source development, they're coming out and saying they want open source. I think sometimes they don't have all the answers in place. They haven't thought it through, and this is definitely evidenced by some of the changes in the market where there's different middlewares, whether it's a database, a message broker, what have you, that come out with an open source licensed option. People are deploying to the cloud. They're using the middleware on the cloud, and then another vendor who operates on the cloud is basically implementing their protocol, or they're taking their open source product, they're encapsulating it in a paid for product, and then they're reselling it and they're making the money off of it. Is that good? Is that bad? Is that healthy competition, or is that sharky behavior? You got to think about that. So those are different angles to the whole stuff about what do you do in that context. Some of the companies, the vendors, the middleware providers, what have you, are trying to deal with that, and so they come out with updated license policies. Like, wait a second, wait a minute. The GPL license that we released with doesn't really talk about that. The GPL license was written before the cloud era came to be, or we use Apache Server license. Apache Server license definitely doesn't talk about that scenario where somebody takes your ASL wrap thing and they wrap it and they resell your product. As far as I know from that license agreement, that's totally cool. Is it? This is the stuff where companies have been formed, people hired, funding has been raised to go to market to try to build something, and underneath it, somewhere in the foundation, is an open source toolkit. And you're wanting to go join the team. Does your company that you're working for building open source like that, do they have a clear handle on what the game plan is, how they're going to make it to going to IPO or what have you, reaching liquidity? That's a challenge.